We're back. We're back. Yes, we're back. Not that we want you to make the biggest mistakes for the Cal State, but so you don't make the biggest mistakes. Now, in case you're gonna just show me the application, let's go. I just want to let you know I hear you, but I am going to show you a little bit of why the Cal State universities are so awesome. And then also, we're going to give you a lot of information at the end so you can research more. But just for the beginning part, just know that the CSUs are known to be pretty affordable. More than half of the CSU students graduate debt free. Yep. And also, did you know there was 4,000 degrees? I believe we have a lot of CSU graduates in the big state of California with real hands-on experience. Yep. And with 22 campuses. 22. All over from as far as north, called Humboldt, and all the way down south, San Diego State. All right, let's check how to apply to this great campus, or excuse me, campuses. So here we go. So let's go. But remember, stay at the end so you learn more information. So when you go to Cal State Apply, and you also go to Cal State, it'll bring you right over here. And hopefully you presented a username and password that you would need. So you're going to start with create your account. We do recommend create your own college email or personal email because guess what? You're not going to have your high school emails all the time. And also, please make sure that you're applying to the right academic year. So let's highlight the biggest mistakes. Now, one of the biggest mistakes is people not realizing that this is their ID number. This is so important, whether you need some help from the system or also that your counselor from your school may need this information. But also, a lot of students may not know that they are eligible for the CSUs. Yes. So it will give you information here, remind you about financial aid, check email, all this great stuff. And remember, you can also log in to chat with them. So don't be afraid to check different things. Here is a little bell. I'll tell you about critical alerts and also the question mark. Yes, the question mark will help you to go into the guide of looking. Now remember, this application season starts with when you're going to be in college, so fall 2026. And yes, though we're going to go into the video biggest mistakes. Here are a whole bunch of guides to all wonderful students. PDFs with a lot of information that's on here. So also like how to manage your accounts, things that you need before you submit. So let's kind of check that out. What do you need for this one application for 22 schools, right? So one of the things that's important to know is making sure that you know what programs you're applying to and applications, requirements for each of the campuses, especially for impacted majors, meaning majors that are a little bit challenging to get into. Now, one of those tips and guides is for dependent students to realize that, hey, if you're not meeting any of these requirements, you're going to need your parent guardian's household information. So no, that means that you're going to need not only their household side, but your parents' total income for the specified year on your taxes. It's not optional, it is required. So no, if your parents do not file tax, estimate your total yearly income. Now, if you don't wish to include that income, that's okay. They use that for other different purposes and support. Just enter 9999 9999. But please make sure that's an accurate information, and the income they want to receive is the total for that year: wages, salary, commissions, income from self-employment, social security, dividends or interest, welfare payments, unemployment compensation, pensions, alimony, basically everything that they receive. Do not include any financial aid you receive. So if you get financial aid for your high school, don't include that here. Now let's pretend you get stuck and you need more help. Oh my God, the deadline's coming up. What am I going to do? Never fear, a phone number's here and an email. So, unlike Common App, that other application for over 1,000 schools, which Cal States and the UCs do not use, you do have a phone number. Look at all these time frames that are available. But no, they will not be open on a lot of days, not even the day after Thanksgiving, but a couple of days before. So you want to make sure that you look at these times to contact them, have that ID number available. They can also help you not only for submitting, but fee waiver eligibility, navigating the application portal. So please know that the Cal State candidates, but other requirements including, prerequisites, supplementary materials. Those are things you need to contact the campuses. And look, if you scroll down, here's all those emails and phone numbers. Now remember, these are public universities. So some schools like Channel Islands is a lot smaller, but if you go all the way to Fullerton, which is over 40,000 students, you may want to try to give them a call or not wait last minute before you submit your applications. And yeah, you're getting a preview right now of all the 22, yes, 22, not 23 CSU campuses. And we'll get into that in a moment. So we'll cover that moment after looking at this application. So when you're going here to My Applications, it's going to give you 4 boxes that you have to fulfill. Everything has to be green. Green is good in order to submit your application. Now, when you first start your application, you'll come to this page. Biggest mistake is saving yourself time. Let's work smarter versus harder. Let's look at these filter boxes. A lot of people don't realize that they can use these filter boxes. So if you're interested in just like in San Marcos, oh, did you see that change to the left? Missed it? Weren't paying attention? Come on. All right. I'll help you again. Maybe you want to do all the Cal Polys. Yes, there's 2 Cal Polys, but one Cal Poly San Luis Obispo and Maritime County are put in as one campus now. There's Humboldt and Pomona. So let's say if I picked all those schools, well, remember, everyone's applying different times. So maybe you're a fall applicant. You want to make sure campuses are face-to-face. What's hybrid? So yes, many CSUs, like if you went to San Diego State, 20% of the classes are offered online. So yes, there's a lot of online courses happening at many of the CSUs. And then maybe you want to be at a campus versus like an extended education location, like for San Francisco State, which does have offices in downtown versus the Sunset District. When you are here at a campus, let's just say I want to do aerospace engineering. I click on there. Ooh, I got a message. Alternate program required. Highly recommend you say yes and pick another major that maybe is not as competitive, but that you love, right? So important. So then click on that button. Now, if you do put, I do not interested in alternate program, they won't consider it. You won't get that button all the time. I had a lot of students freaking out like, oh my God, I need that button. I need an alternate major. Well, there is not a requirement for alternates, not an impacted major. So that will change per campus. So every campus will handle it differently. Treat each Cal State as their own institution, but using the same application and some basic same rules. So how do I get out of here? Well, remember, there's that box, My Application. Yay. So let's just look at what the biggest mistakes that happen here. And yes, there are plenty. If you are going to be graduating from a private school, you're going to click this button. I know you're in high school, but a lot of you private school wonderful students did not complete the CAA SPP assessment. That's really for the public school students that attend public schools. So they'll put that there. You're just putting that. Here you just acknowledge all your information. This other stuff is just making sure, like we told you about, knowing your family's income. So important. So that's something you'll need to know from family size, educational level. That's not an optional feature. It is required because that's a star. And then also you will need to know one of your parents' information. The date that they're asking is when they came to California. So that answer is different for everybody. But just remember that's so critical. Why? Well, because that's going to tell you what's in-state versus out-of-state tuition for you based on your parents' residency. So once you're done with personal information, it brings you right over here. So easy peasy. Is the entire application like that? Nope. Okay, so the hardest part, let's get right into it. You need to enter all the high schools that you have attended. So if you did go to another school, you need to put that in there. Let's take a moment and type another school. So notice this doesn't say name. It alerts it says state, city, zip code, or CEB code. What is that? Well, let's just say I took a course at BYU and I put CEB code. Don't put the first thing you see. Read. BYU Independent Study. Okay, so this has a code here that I'm going to copy. And then I'm going to type it in here. So yeah, you're going to need to know that CB code. Scroll down, like, wait, is it zip code? What's going on here? Here you go. You click on that button. Click again here. Yes, that's where you click. And you put the date of attendance you were at this campus. As you scroll down, you're going to pick the term. And for our school, it will be for semester. So always make sure it reflects of the semester. So that's for BYU. So whatever school that you have, make sure you have the correct one. Do not assume. Okay, so here for the student, they put down St. Ignatius. That's when they're applying. And then look at all these green checks. So it's easy, right? Well, this is the part that could be hard. If you had a dual enrollment class, you're going to put your information here. At St. Ignatius, they have one with San Francisco State. So if you register with that program, both online and in person, with your instructor, you're wonderful and all that's taken care of. But let's just say you're part of those students who actually took some direct credit courses, like at a community college, like Foothill College. Now, you may be saying, that, wait, Foothill, that's semester. No. Remember, you have to check with the school how they are. And Foothill grades by quarters, not semester. There are a couple of those schools like that in California for the community college to do that. You put in-state and then the term, and do not indicate check if you're still attending here if that is not a course you're planning on taking during your senior year. Okay, so what you're going to be doing is basically transferring all your information from their high school courses that are A to G onto your application. So let's highlight not everything. Just make sure your counselor checks everything. That's so key because they know the curriculum. One of the biggest mistakes is a lot of students don't include 12th grade, or they miss one class or that one English. So remember, it's in progress and plan. And they're going to put no course. It's not in progress plan on there. Now for this school here at St. Ignatius, a lot of students get confused. Like, wait, I'm in photography 1B, not 1A. No. So let me change that. And I'm going to take that out. So if I go here and change that, well, why are you changing it? It's auto-populate. Auto-populate takes it from our A to G list. That's just how the school writes up the form. But this is the part where it's key. When you're doing all your courses senior year, most students will have 12 semester courses, either say in progress and planned, right? So you want to count that down and make sure you also put that in progress plan, not no courses, for courses that are year long. Now, the nice thing is when you enter all this beautiful stuff by doing the auto populate, it already will know the advanced placement courses. But what's this? Is that part of our English language? Well, there is a little oopsie with the Cal State application for Música del Caribe. So basically just write Caribe on there and it'll pop up. So if you don't believe me, because maybe I don't believe myself, maybe. Oh, I was right. I wrote car and I got it. So go ahead and put that in there. Be aware of that glitch that has not been repaired for this year. Now, summer school gets their own box. How did I do that? Well, if you scroll to the very bottom, they have their own box of summer school. So please make sure to check with your college counselor, make sure there's the right year that you're going to put in there, and then the letter grade. Now, this should all match your transcript. And though you may have heard that Cal States and UCs don't use pluses and minuses, they want you to transfer it here exactly as it appears on your application. Now, are you counting the 12? Are you making sure your RS 300? So when there is a class that is a number, sometimes if you just enter the number, it'll come up a lot quickly so you know which one to select. But one thing is that's happening for a lot of students is there's a lot of different options when they put in a course. What do I mean by that? So if I put in the cultures, I know that I'll have like an honors U.S. history here, but then I have a U.S. history culture honors. Which one? So they're taking all the abbreviations and the titles that's available on our A to G list. Pick the one that matches your transcript, right? So what we did up here, this is the one that matches. It's all good. But there are other abbreviations. Pick the one that mirrors your transcript. Now, what's happening over here? So a lot of students will go back and change this to honor. Wait, didn't I say if I let it auto-populate, it'll do this correctly? It does. Don't believe me? I'm going to show you what an A to G list looks like then. Did you see I labeled it there on the search? Like magic. Unbelievable. I press enter. There goes the UC. Wait, you said UC. I'm doing the biggest mistakes for Cal State. I know what I said, but did you know that both the UCs and the Cal States use the same A to G list? So here is that school, St. Ignatius. If you scroll down, here's all those abbreviations, but we're talking about honors. Oh yeah, we are talking about honors. You see that yellow star? Very important. That means you get honors credit. Those are all those abbreviations I was talking about. But look at honors 203H. No yellow star, no honors distinction. So please make sure to not correct that because it is correct. But then why chemistry honors? Because anything that's deemed 11th grade curriculum or higher when the submission was done by the high school, they'll say, okay, you got honors. Now, 9th grade, a lot of students were right in wellness, but if you go back to the A to G list, there's no wellness on here. Don't believe me? Look at your A to G. But if you have 8th period chorus, like mixed chorus and such, make sure to put it in here. But remember, only if it's A to G and it's on your transcript. Now, what's this middle school? Well, and the name's not St. Ignatius. Well, let's just say this is a middle school, whether it be Roosevelt Middle School or St. Brendan's. You're going to put the last high school year, your freshman year, and yes, your high school. Why? Because that's what the CSU said. Look at the guy if you don't believe me. And if you took an Algebra 1 or a language course, you will put them in here and then indicate the semester of the grades you've done. Okay? So the way to make sure you don't make any mistakes on here after you enter your college coursework, if you have or not, remember, if you have taken a college course, please enter it exactly and see your college counselor for more details. Also, don't forget your AP scores. Anything with a 3 or higher is important. Why? I'll show you why. So let's just say I took another AP exam. And this time I'm going to say that I took Italian, right? I'm going to say, yes, I entered it already. Put a code that I made up. That's not legit. Let's keep going. There we go. And then I'm going to put the date since this was a past test. I'm going to look at May. This is just a fake situation. Don't copy this. Please don't copy this. I'm going to save that test, which is an actual one. Now remember, these schools are test free. Why is the scores on there? Because what if these students are international students using that for admissions? And there's other possibilities too. But right now we want to focus on A to G matching. This is what's so important. So these are the minimum requirements, and these are all the courses we've taken. And when you click on this A to G, every course here should have a code. Now, if you did it correctly, then all these courses will have numbers there. And then for the middle school ones that don't, you're going to put in the code. Maybe your college course doesn't either. You would put in the code. Oh, look, Mr. White's dual enrollment class. Look how you enter that. Very important. And then look here, you also get a code for any AP exams 3 or higher. I told you. All right, what's next you to watch out for? So now we're going to go to supporting information. So if you were lucky enough to get involved in any of these programs, please put yes, but if not, put no. Do note that the college could verify any information for any college application you put in there. Now, here's very important, biggest mistake, 36 months. Did you work? That's a paid experience. Is it related to your major? If you're putting different majors, put the one that most of your campuses are related to, and then answer the questions appropriately. Again, that number, 36 months. But keep in mind, these are such activities. So if this activity is not on there, maybe it's family responsibilities or such, please put those on there because those are leadership participations. And then indicate it if you hold any leadership roles. But if you are just volunteering or just learning how to play piano, it's fine to put no, but just answer it properly. So when you're over here for the EOP section, here will show you some worksheets of how to do the EOP. This is the only section that requires letter recommendations, one from a teacher within the school or administrator. Otherwise, it could be the second letter recommendation could be from anyone. This is about somebody who knows your story of the hardships and challenges and all about your motivation. EOP is wonderful, great opportunity, extra resources, a must. So make sure to take advantage of the EOP application. Here's the good news. EOP will allow students to submit after they submit the application for the Cal State schools. So whether you're eligible for EOP and you're working on it, or if you're not because you don't meet the income criteria established by EOP, well, let's get back to see what else we need to do. So the program materials, the biggest mistakes is not reading. So there's some on the campus where there's not tons to read. It says what's available. They have some questions like, hey, yes, this is my first bachelor's degree. Yes, I want to live on campus. Yes, let me check these boxes of who I am, or decline who I am because they just want you to pick one box. Indicate there's any type of other support programs that you want from the campus, any other programs that you're all involved in. Do you think they're looking at this for admissions? Yes, they are. That's why it's on here. All this is being used. And guess what? A lot of people are overlooking the Cal Polys of San Luis Obispo and Solano. Now, again, we're going to go a little bit more into that campus, but one part that a lot of students are not reading is not the affirmation acknowledging this is the truth, but the whole truth. But when I put first year graduating students, it's saying, hey, is this all true? Right? And then if the middle school is truly our applicable middle school courses, like a language other than English or a course that's Algebra 1 or higher. So that's something that's really important to indicate. Are you going to live on campus? And then this is the part where you go, I verify that the location I selected is correct for my major. So remember, how you pick the campus you're applying to is based on the major you select. And then here is something fairly new for Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, but not for other campuses. If you are offered a spot, would you be open to enrolling spring 2027? What? What does that mean? That means you can go travel the world, get a job, save some money, get an internship. So if you say yes, that is an option you're giving the Cal Polys, both in Solano and San Luis Obispo, to be considered as well too. And what you do is just put save questions, and then those will be applied to your campus. So the other thing is here is you want to check for fee waiver. So if you are eligible for a fee waiver, you'll get 4. If you're not of your Sobrino students, see your college counselors. Counseling office along with other departments will be helping you for paying for 2 campuses for the CSU regardless. But if you aren't eligible for a fee waiver, just click on submit all. Here we'll get this message of how many years more. Thank you for the religion department for doing such a great job. A lot of your courses do count for English and social science. That's just for UC-CSUs. But what's happening here? Well, did you notice I may have entered some courses repeated? This is just a dummy count, but look at all the ID number. They want us to make sure they're correct. Also, sometimes some students will get warnings for the multimedia design 1A and 1B. They'll say, oh, it's a duplicate, but is it really? So again, see your college counselor just to check it. But once you're done here, you submit it and then that's it, right? No. Then after you submit it, the Cal State campuses will send you emails within probably 48 to 72 hours to upload your portal. That's where you can get all your other notifications, whether you're like San Diego State University that needs a 7th semester transcript, or maybe you're at Long Beach and you need to do a portfolio for one specific major. That's the part that's so important. Now, make sure you submit before Thanksgiving. Don't be a turkey, right? And enjoy your break. But also, let's get some really juicy information about all the different resources available at the Cal State website. Before we go to the main website about other resources, I don't want to lose you. Let's go check out the Cal Poly Solano and San Luis Obispo campus. Yes, that is a campus. It's not all on a ship, but you can take classes online. Already they're creating not only a new major for the maritime degree. These are the camp at the Maritime Academy. You'll be able to take these type of majors on the campus. Also, business administration, they're going to have a supply chain major as well. And mechanical engineering will be offered both at the San Luis Obispo and the Solano campus. So you can see it's a really different environment. Again, learning by doing. Are they going to the military? Well, they can, but they don't have to, right? So you do have the Maritime Academy and then the regular campus where it's just like a regular Cal Poly, but just in Vallejo. You probably drove by it so many times, you don't even know about it. So yes, this is the actual campus, cutting edge facilities, different programs, so cool. So hopefully this helps. Here it shows you that here's a way that you could be a cadet for the Maritime Academy or just be a regular student at the Solano, and more information about the integration process. But if we click over here about the fall 2026 process, here shows you that you will be selected based on the major that you applied for. Also, here it says if you're a newly admitted students, then they'll tell you like, oh, I've chosen maritime. What are some next steps you want to do for the program as well? The cost is nothing really big or difference. Just know the tuition for Cal States are very affordable, but do know that there also are some concerns when students say the cost of living, meaning housing, room, and board. So you definitely want to apply for your financial aid and look at different options with this campus, but know that you will be going into the campus like the Solano campus or San Luis Obispo based on the major that you select on the program with that first filter process that we did. Now, the other thing is you want to really make sure that each of the campuses to see how do they evaluate you. Here's Long Beach, and they do a very specific mathematical code for even specific majors that you apply to. So that's something not to just think about, oh, I just meet the minimum requirement, but are you competitive? Because let's say you do Long Beach or you also do San Luis Obispo, those are a couple of challenging programs. So in case you don't meet their minimum requirements, so they're called the index score, then you want to look at different campuses. So how do you find out which campus is not impacted or so? Well, we're back here on this page, and it's basically called research. So just to remember, we're talking about a lot of different opportunities for one application for all 22 campuses. What you do is select the campuses, we fill out the information, and you'll get admissions decisions. But you want to make sure everything's checked because they don't take transcripts for admissions, they don't take letter recommendations. So that's something that's so key to do. But if you're not sure how to find your campus, there's a lot of great resource here from the application guide again, but also you could also find different campuses, and here you go, the impacted majors in comparison. So here you can see for all majors, these are the campuses for this incoming 26-27 year that's available. And then here, if I put down Chico for first-time students, these two campuses are impacted. Meaning, let's say you're trying to put water in a pitcher, but you have to go through a straw. Meaning there's very few spots available versus just a pitcher being open. Want to look at another campus? Pomona has several others. Want to look at, let's say, San Diego State? Woo, all majors, right? So that's something important to do. You can look at the hyperlink here to get more information as well. So as you're going through this, not only do they have majors that are impacted, but ways to search for careers, how to look for other campuses, different events. So great resource. Even they have a freshman application checklist to make sure that you know the deadlines, other application. But I think the part that they're not really showing you is really doing the research, the hard work, checking all the information, seeing your counselor to see if everything's in order, understanding all the requirements. And then if you did make a oopsie mistake and miss the deadline, then here you want to look at campuses still taking applications. So that is something that you could definitely look at. It's a little bit early right now when we create this video, but maybe you're watching it after for this round, December 1st deadline date. So try to submit it a little bit sooner. And then look here, they added this. Cal Poly San Luis Obispo was the only CSU campus FD application for select majors and by exception. So like always want to read all this different information so that you can know that, hey, you're a freshman student, you're looking at fall 2026. Want to know if there's a specific population that's not you. You press submit, and then it gives you information if they're still accepting the application. So everyone looks open and beautiful. So now get open and start your fall 2026 application. Good luck.